Good afternoon, parents. Today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about one of the major skills that we'll be covering over the next 2 weeks, and that is capitalization. Capitalization is such a challenging skill to learn because there are so many different things that could possibly be capitalized. So many little things that people don't really know about. And so today I'm going to show you what the students taught each other. The students were actually the ones that taught me this today. They did something called a jigsaw puzzle where they're responsible for teaching one part to the rest of their table, and then by the end of the activity everyone has learned from another from another student who was teaching. And then afterwards the students taught me what they had learned from the other students. So we remember rules for capitalization by using the acronym MINTS, and it's M-I-N-T-S. So today what they learned was that M stands for months, days, and holidays. So by 4th grade, most students are familiar with months and days. They know all the months through the year and they know all the days through the week. They need to know that at all times those two things are capitalized. The one that we struggle with the most is holidays, because students will remember the important ones like Christmas and Thanksgiving and New Year's Eve and Halloween, but they need to remember that every holiday, even the smaller ones like Easter and Valentine's Day and Labor Day, Memorial Day, President's Day. Someone said today that it was National Hot Dog Eating Day. Today was National Literacy Day. So those are all holidays, and if they pop up in the middle of a sentence, that means they need to be capitalized at all times. The next one is very important because a lot of students, I've seen, not a lot of students, but some students making this mistake. They need to use capital I instead of lowercase I when they're using it by itself. So if I say, my mom asked if I have money. This lowercase I is by itself, which is incorrect. In order for it to be correct, can you see this? You can scoot up so you can zoom in on this. Good point right here. Okay. So if you have my mom asked if I have money, and this lowercase I is by itself, that's incorrect. In order for an I to stand by itself, it must be capitalized. The only way that an I can be lowercase if it's in another word, it's in a word with other letters. Go ahead and scoot back. The next one is N, and that stands for names of people, places, and names of people, places, and organizations. So places has a lot of things included with it. It includes cities, states, countries, and nationalities. I highly encourage every parent to sit down with their student and talk about the difference between a city, a state, and a country, because today when I asked students for examples of cities, I heard things like Mexico and Canada. And the same for when I asked for states. Students would give me cities or countries. It's very important that students know that cities, states, countries, and nationalities are always capitalized. The next one is titles of people, books, movies, companies, and important documents. Okay? The big one here, there's two big ones, is titles of people and titles of important documents. So a lot of students will be like, what? Titles of people? I didn't know that people had titles. Well, they do. Titles like principal and president and doctor and general. And the way I taught it today was these should only be capitalized if they're attached to a name. like Principal Dawes, President Barack Obama, Dr. Harris, and so forth. The other is important documents, and here's where capitalization gets tricky. It's impossible for every single person to memorize every single thing that needs to be capitalized because there are so many details within a category. For example, important documents. We have the Magna Carta of 1216 or whenever it was, and we have the Declaration of Independence, and we have the Treaty of Versailles. We have all of these different important documents that have happened over history. And it's impossible for people to remember exact documents, the name of a document. But what we want students to learn is that if they realize it is a document, if they realize that it is a title of a person, it is attached to a person's name, that they need to be capitalized. So it's impossible to learn every single city in America, right? But if we can learn through reading that it is a city, somehow if we're told through the passage that it is a city, we need to know that it should be capitalized. Same thing for a country. We may not know every country in the world, but if for some reason in the passage we figure out that it is a country, we need to make sure it's capitalized. And the last is S, and that stands for start of a sentence. And every sentence in 4th grade should be started with a capital letter. So to recap, the students learned MINTS today. M is months, days, holidays. I is I instead of I. N is names of people, places, and organizations. T is titles of people, books, movies, companies, and important documents. And S is the start of a sentence. Now if you follow me over here, I can show you what we'll be doing with what we did with our cereal box. So we haven't done this yet in class, but our cereal box is going to be made into a tic-tac box. And it's going to help the students remember that MINTS, M-I-N-T-S, is used to solve or fix problems in a sentence that deal with capitalization. So if you look at this box, I have the letters labeled with the different parts of MINTS. Okay, what the different letters in the acronym mean. And we'll talk more about what this is going to be used for because it's going to be used for an activity at home. But the biggest thing for this week is to ask your students to have them teach you about MINTS. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in, and please text or call if you have any questions.